Growing herbs indoors can be a real treat for your cooking. It can elevate anything from humdrum to superstar, but growing them indoors can be tricky. So, to help us with this, we've brought in a national herb expert. Dave Hansen is our herb master. Dave is the founder of Sage Garden Herbs, a specialized herb and organic greenhouse. He started growing them in his basement and his business just grew and grew. And now his website, herbs.mb.ca, sells his homegrown organic herbs across the country.
First thing is that a lot of times, there's many varieties of, say, oregano or lavender or thyme, and they range in their zone hardiness from, hardy in a zone 3 in quite a cold climate up till Mediterranean zones, which is like zone 5, 6, 7. The warmer the plant's native zone, the better it's going to do indoors. In other words, these are plants that are used to growing as evergreen, year-round perennial plants. So let's start with the oreganos there.
Sure.
You've got an Italian oregano, and I've got what's called a hot and spicy Greek oregano. Fantastic perennial. In fact, it's rated to zone 3, so we're able to put it in a Winnipeg garden, for example, and have it come back year after year. But the way it's able to do that is by really putting its energy into dormancy for the winter. So if you brought the hot and spicy indoors to your home, it's just going to be unhappy with the fact that it's warm. The Italian oregano, by contrast, is about a zone 7 or 8 perennial, and that means that it's used to being evergreen. It does experience a bit of coolish winter weather, but basically it likes to be on the windowsill and keep its leaves going all year round. I guess what I'm saying here is that choosing the right varieties is going to go a long ways towards your success with your vision for your indoor herb garden.
So we really don't necessarily want to have like a perennial one. I mean, one that is going to go dormant, like you had said. You just want one that'll stay evergreen year round.
Exactly.
So like this type of oregano, the Italian one.
Yeah.
Plus the rosemary, because this is an evergreen.
Exactly.
Right?
Rosemary is about a zone 7, 8, 9 perennial.
So basil, it's everybody's favorite, especially mine. It's great in the summer and it looks so good in the pots, but then when you bring it indoors, it just dies.
Exactly. Now it's a big disappointment. Basil is definitely the #1 herb in people's cookbooks for sure. Now the classic basil people grow is the Genovese style basil, the sort of large leaf basils and the Thai basils and lemon basils. These are all annual plants.
Is that why they die?
Exactly. It's very important to know that annual herbs, and this includes like dill, sweet marjoram, summer savory, a lot of the popular ones, cilantro, they are not able to live beyond one season. When they go to flower, they set seed. That's the end of their life cycle. Luckily, we do have some alternatives. There are some basil varieties that never flower, and so they're not affected by this life cycle. We'll start with the serrata basil, actually. The serrata basil is sort of halfway in between. It's a beautiful Italian basil that comes from Naples, Italy. Incredible flavor, and it's sort of halfway in between. It's sort of a longer-lived basil, so that means that in the fall it'll last certainly into October, maybe even a little bit later in the season if you do bring it indoors. It probably won't last indefinitely, but it's certainly a longer-term one. So what we have back here is a Cuban basil and Aussie sweetie basil. And what's really great about these is that they don't flower. And so they're able to keep on going as long as they're getting adequate sunlight. So the challenge is these are full sun herbs, and so that means they need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. So the great news is these days there's much more compact and efficient grow lights for indoors. Very easy to set up. These come with under-the-counter clips, so you could actually put them underneath the kitchen cabinets. It takes about 5 minutes to install. You don't have to do any wiring. They can be daisy-chained to expand your operations if you want. But they're wonderful, and they'll transform your indoor herb garden, not only for the basils, but all of your herbs. And you could at least have the potential to grow, even all the annuals as well as your regular Mediterranean and warmer climate herbs.
Oh, wonderful.